Hey guys, Dennis back with a brand new video. So did your dish machine bite the dust? Ours did. I'm gonna show you how to swap out your old broken dish machine with a new one. So let's go inside. Alright, so here's our dish machine. This is a Maytag, and this was in the house when we bought it. So the symptoms were it would stop releasing the detergent pods here, no matter what cycle we put it on. I bought a new control board for this. I replaced the control board, same exact symptoms. I think this membrane actually went bad. I'm gonna show you how to change out your existing dish machine with a new one. So our first step is we wanna go down to our breaker panel and shut off the circuit breaker for this dish machine. We have a 20 amp circuit breaker that is labeled dishwasher, so we're gonna shut that off. Now that the electricity is secured, we need to look for where our dish machine water feed comes from, and it's normally under your sink. And this is it right here. We're gonna shut the water off. All right, so let's get the water disconnected. And you can just use like a to-go container if you have one to catch some water. If you look at your drain assembly on the bottom of your sink, you'll normally see a little stem sticking out and a hose coming off it. This is the drain hose for the dish machine. Now this one's probably gonna have a bit more water in it. Now these hose clamps normally either have a Phillips or a flathead, or you could use a nut driver style, like a 5/16, and that fits right on there. And then all you have to do is grab on one side of it and then get that bucket ready. Okay, there's probably water in here because this is also looped. All right, so we have our electricity off, we have our water line and our drain line disconnected. All right, now here are those clips I was talking about. So these are Phillips screws in here. All right, and on most of these dish machines, it's either a plastic or a metal panel, and there's normally 2 screws that hold it in. This one is just kind of sitting in here. Oh, so we'll pull that whole thing out. All right, so your power connection is normally either on the front left or right side. You'll normally see a little sticker here with a little shock warning on it. There is a little screw on this side. If we take that screw off, that allows you to get this cover off right here, and it exposes the electrical connections. So we'll need to disconnect our hot, neutral, and ground from inside of this box to be able to free up that wire. And then you'll see that cover comes off. And then what we can do to be sure that there's no power on is use one of these non-contact voltage testers and put it on our wires here, and you'll see that none of them are lighting up, so. All right, so we're just gonna put our flathead screwdriver on one of those little pieces on there. I'm gonna hit it with a pair of linesman's pliers, and it should loosen that up enough where you can take the nut off. That's what it looks like right here. And then we should be able to pull our wiring right out from the backside. So the wiring is out now. Now our water supply and our drain are both connected in the front here. All right, so you can normally pinch this a little bit and rotate it with your fingers in case you can't get a pair of channel locks on this. These things are pretty springy. They grab good, so you just squeeze it and just kind of work it towards the back. And then we can pull this out. And you gotta make sure you have some towels handy, because you probably are gonna make a mess. It's kind of hard to get all of the water out of here. Sometimes you can spin these off by hand. It's like a hose connector. Other times you need a pair of channel locks, so just loosen it up. And this is your water connection from under the sink. There's that stainless steel hose again. All right, and then that we're just gonna kind of push towards the back here. And then that's really all that's remaining to be able to get the dish machine out. It's gonna take some wiggling because there's normally these rubber seals on here, and they normally get caught depending on the width of your opening. All right, there's one side. Here's the other side. So if you have really nice floors, like wood floors, obviously you would probably want to put down some cardboard or a towel or a sheet or something so you don't damage your floors. These are old linoleum floors Not really worried about them, but you just wiggle this thing out. Now I'm gonna get a hand truck, take this out of here, and then we'll get the new one in here. Alright, so we'll pull this off the top here. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is you want to measure your opening before you go to buy one of these, because they do come in multiple heights and widths. So the width on this one is 24. That's kind of standard, I guess, for dish machines. And the height, I believe, is 33 1/3. The underside of my counter is 34 inches, so that's gonna be just right. All right, so here's the new unit. It did have some blue tape over the top here to hold the door shut, and your full instructions are in the inside. All right, now this one has one of those metal panels I had mentioned earlier, and there's 2 Phillips screws. And this front panel is adjustable, so if there's a gap between your floor and the bottom of the dish machine, you can actually slide that panel up and down to make up for that gap. But before installation, we want to remove it. All right, so the new one uses a 3/8 fitting instead of that hose adapter, so we'll take that hose adapter off of the water line that was existing, and then you'll see this channel here. That is where the water line needs to come through, and then there's a channel on this side where the electrical line needs to come through, and this is our electrical hookup box on the new machine. All right, so we're gonna feed our drain hose through, and the hole is big enough here. If it's not, you're gonna have to use a hole saw, obviously, to widen it for you. All right, and as you push the unit back, you wanna make sure that these are staying aligned, and then you also wanna pull up any slack on your drain hose. All right, so if you're looking for your hardware to mount to the underside of the cabinet here, it's normally in the silverware basket in these new machines. It comes with the new screws to mount it to the machine and to the underside of your counter, and it comes with a hose clamp for your drain. Okay, now to mount your brackets in on this LG one anyways, they go in like this, and then what you have to do is you have to bend this tab over. And you can either do it with your finger or you can use some pliers. You do it the same on both sides. All right, so at this point we want to connect our water. Now that we get the machine under the cabinet, we're going to connect our 3/8 water supply. All right, now we need to get our wire in place here and into the electrical box. Now that we got that in place here, we need to put our Romex connector nut back on. After you have all your connections made inside of the dish machine, you can come back under your sink, connect your water. We got our water connected, and now we want to connect our drain hose. Now, depending on the size nipple that's sticking out of your drain line here, they give you a couple different size options, and you have 1 inch, 3/4, and 5/8. So what you can do is you can actually trim this off with a utility knife. All right, and you'll notice that 3/8 fits on here perfectly. All right, and then we'll put our hose clamp on here and tighten her up. All right, so all we have left to do before we power this up and turn water on is to raise the dish machine and level it. So on these newer machines, there is a screw right here, and this is to raise the tub up and down. And then also you have the feet in the front here. So the screws for the back, the feet are for the front. So what you wanna do is you wanna raise the machine until there's no gap here, or it's very close. All right, we're back on. All right, we'll get our water turned back on now. And then we want to check for leaks. All right, so we also want to check this fitting to make sure there's no leakage on there. All right, well, let's see if this works. Oh, it even makes fancy noises. So we'll do normal, and what we'll do is we'll hit start, and we will wait to listen for water filling up in here. We'll let it go through its cycle and start filling. And then once we get some water into the bottom of the tub, we'll be able to check level, because you'll be able to see that water if it's leaning to one side or not. All right, now I can see that the water is kind of sitting towards the back, so that means I need to raise up the back a bit more. All right, so we're gonna use our Phillips now, and we're gonna raise the back. All right, and it seems to be pretty much centered now. So once you have the inside of your dish machine level, then you can secure these under counter straps here. All right, so our very last step is to put our kick plate in here, and this just blocks off everything and blocks off you from being able to see all the mechanicals underneath there. All right, and that's mounted. And that's all there is to it. All right, guys, so that wraps it up for today's video. Not too bad of an installation, you know, an hour, 2 hours tops with some basic hand tools. You just need to be able to shut off your water, be comfortable working with electrical, and be able to reconnect that drain. And you can swap out your dish machine, no problem. Save yourself a ton of money. Why pay an installation fee on top of the cost of a new dish machine also? So if you found this video useful, hit that like button, please. It helps me out a lot. And also don't forget to subscribe, because it helps me keep bringing you guys content every single week. So until next time, thanks for watching.